it's plain to see. I wanna be famous. I wanna live close to the sun. Oh, pack your bags, cause I've already won. Everything to prove, nothing in my way. I'll get there one day. Cause I wanna be famous. Na 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 na. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to episode 4 in our Total Drama Spotlight series.
This time we're going back to the original island that started all, but with a really different background. Total Drama Revenge of the Island!
This season is going back to the roots of the first season, but this time with a brand new cast. Plus, the island has been covered with toxic waste, which Chris somehow had access to and dumped. So, now all the animals and plants have been mutated, which really interferes with the challenges and sometimes are the challenges.
Yeah, and people were really worried about this season because, like, new cast. Like, they couldn't use the same teens forever because then that wouldn't be like a reality show where they had new contestants every year.
But I still would have watched it, even with the same cuckoos, I would have watched it every time. But it was smart to change the cast.
Right, like, okay, I think 3 times is your limit because eventually it's like, okay, these kids here can't be legally allowed to do this anymore. So they had 13 new teenagers come in to be, I guess they call it the second generation cast now because they've been, this is the 4th year on.
Okay.
Yes, the island has been covered in toxic waste, so we have all these mutated animals, plants were coming alive, there were swamps that didn't exist, squirrels could shoot lasers out of their eyes, there were maggots and giant roaches, there were monster bears and mutant rabbits and carnivorous man-eating plants. It was just
the island was pissed.
Yeah, I was like, how dare you? Yeah, and Chris just let them go on it.
And again, he became even more cruel in this match, and he used all of this score to his advantage in the challenge.
The worst part is someone actually got affected by the mutation. One of them actually got they were so exposed to it so long they became a monster. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh boy.
So, what is the best thing you loved about the Revenge of the Island?
Well, this was a way for them to start fresh again, so a new cast of characters to get used to, new personalities for them to use, like they had the one that was always really, really nice. They had the jock. They had the drill sergeant. They had the bubble boy. They had one was pretty much like as Duncan 2.0, but only you like Duncan 1.0 better. They had Michael, the multiple personality one, and he
he was one of the most hilarious characters.
Yeah. Okay, we tell about him. After we go a little more. They had Dawn, who was this animal lover, and she was really she was like Fluttershy as a human.
Right.
And they had this girl Stacy. All she ever talked about is how her relatives and ancestors invented just like everything around her. My great grandfather invented this. My great grandmother invented the place.
She was the human version of Khalil in Jonah.
Yeah. Every time all she would talk about is how her grandparents or some distant ancestor had created something they use every day, and she got so annoyed and they just like, get out.
It ran deep in her family.
Right. And who else did they have? Because they had Zoe, like I said, the new dice one. They had Lightning, who never stopped talking about himself, who said, Shabam!
Oh, he was the most annoying character this season. I could not wait for him to shut up and leave. Every time he would open his mouth, I go, oh, is he talking again? Oh, will he ever shut up? And you were laughing so hard because I'm like, he is the most irritating character. And
Right.
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They put him there to be the irritant.
And they had one that was like Snooky. She was Anne Marie, and she kept had this Jersey accent. She had this hairspray. She would constantly spray her hairspray. It was so
hair,
much
yeah.
it became a rock. And then they had one who was pretty much silent. His name was B.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much silent. He never said anything, and he let his actions speak. But every time he was about to say something, something would happen, and he never spoke the whole time he was on there. And that's pretty much all the characters. Like I said, it was not as many as the first season,
Right.
so it was only 13.
Yeah, we'll get back to Mike. He was the most interesting in this cast this season. He
Yes.
really was. So tell them more about Mike.
Okay, so a lot of people couldn't figure it out. Not the audience, but the contestants there somehow couldn't figure it out. He had multiple personality disorder, and if something happened to him, it'll be a trigger. It'll be specific things that would trigger another personality. Like if there's something, if he got hit or stubbed his toe, he would turn to Chester, who was this kind of old man personality. And they had, if something called for adventure, he would turn to Manitoba, who was Australian.
Yeah.
If something called for athleticism, he would turn to Spinella. And what's that? And what was the other one they had? And if he got his shirt ripped off, he turned to Tito, who was supposed to be the Total Dramas version of The Situation.
Oh my God.
And
yeah.
he also had a fifth one introduced in the next season, which we'll get to when we do that podcast.
Season,
yeah,
right.
but that one was definitely not to be trifled with.
And he was shipped with
Zoe, who was
right.
the redhead. Yeah, she was the
Right.
one that was really kind and sweet, and then she had to toughen up because contestants were taking advantage of her because there were very few nice characters this
Yeah.
season. A lot of them were kind of rough.
Revenge of the Island kind of described Revenge of the contestants who were on the new show
Right.
because
And-
a lot of them were treacherous.
Right, and Scott was the villain of the season, and the only thing that pretty much knocked him down, they had a mutated shark named Fang, and for some reason he was obsessed with trying to eat him. Every time he got near the water, he would try to
Rightly
eat
so.
him. And one time he finally ripped him, well, he didn't rip him apart, but he just like messed him up so bad he was in like a robot suit. He didn't get to eat him, but he messed him up pretty bad, and he was still trying to do it when he was in the robot suit. I'm like,
Right.
dang, this shark's determined.
Shark had good taste.
But most of the challenges were kind of mutated. I'm sorry, not mutated. It was radioactive themed.
Right.
Like they had to find specific animals in the forest, like they're now new species or mutated species. They had to dress them up in fashion clothes. It's like, where did that even come from? They had to build a fort in the snow because now they had different climates somehow. They had one of those search and find for keys. They had the truth or execution. They had lots of pretty crazy challenges that required them to either use their brain or use their strength.
Right.
So more strenuous too.
So this is a great way for them to put new life into the franchise. And again, I would have watched it even with the old cast, but the new cast ended up being real interesting. We were really nervous, as you said, about watching it. And was it going to be as interesting? Were we going to like the characters? Unfortunately, a lot of these characters you really don't like.
Yeah, there were a few, but there
Yeah.
were so few. Like I said, because there were so fewer characters in the first time, and a lot of them were pretty villainous. So there was only like maybe 2 or 3 at a time you actually like, if they stayed around that long.
Right. So, who was your favorite character from this season?
I think it's gotta be Mike, just for the type of personalities he has and all these strange little triggers that somehow were able to come out throughout the entire season,
Right.
and no one ever figured out until he like did it in his sleep, and someone was watching like, why is he doing? He was telling them he was a method actor, and he was getting together character unexpectedly
Because he didn't want anyone to know, because he thought they would take him out of the challenge,
Right.
out of the competition.
Right, and so every time that something happened to him by coincidence, that character would come out, and somehow they would actually help them win the challenge, or if they were kind of, not as useful like Tito, he would end up sabotaging the challenge.
The really sweet thing, though, he did really like Zoe.
Right.
And that was the sweet part of him,
Yeah.
which was his regular part.
Right.
And you could see he liked Zoe, but in the other incarnations, it was like Zoe who? And she was like, why are you acting like this? Why are you doing this to me? Do you? I thought you liked me.
Right.
He was jeopardizing her.
Right,
And
and the different personalities like different people, so it was really messed up.
So yeah, I think he was the most interesting character, and for this season, he was my favorite character.
Right. And there's also fewer episodes, as the other ones were 26, but since there were fewer people to boot out and only very few immunity challenges, they had like 13 or maybe 14 to 15 episodes.
Right.
So they had to shorten it down, or if they wanted the 26, they had to start having ones where it's just a war challenge, no one goes home. They just do the challenge, whoever wins gets this, whoever loses doesn't get grabbed, and it just depended.
Right. So, how would you say that this season set up for season 5?
Well, it introduced, like I said, a whole new cast, once again. And for the All-Stars, they kind of had a mix of the classic characters and then of the new cast. It was just like the ones that were really popular.
So, I think that was a way for them to bring back
Right, old and new
that
favorites,
people like
yes.
with some of the ones from this one.
Right.
So, it was really a springboard
Right.
for season 5. And
Right.
you had to have this season to have season 5, or you couldn't have had it because, as we said, it was a mix of old and new characters.
And the teaser was that every couple episodes they would have one of the original contestants appear or be part of the challenge. Like one time they had Owen, another time they had to build their own automobile. They had Heather. There was another one where they had to spray paint something. They had Duncan come in. And they just have these certain characters come in and help out or kind of be like a guest star appearance. And if these contestants watch the show, they will know that, oh, wait, I know her. Like, you were cruel last season. Like, almost funny. Like, they would know. And then you would like to foreshadow to what happened in the 5th season with the new characters acting with the original. And how would they react? Like, these are the ones that will take their place later or something.
So, this season is available on Netflix.
Yes.
And you can watch it
so.
all the way. Well, as of this time, it's still on Netflix to enjoy. So, watch Total Drama Revenge of the Island. See a whole new cast. Enjoy the show for what it is. Find your new characters. And then be ready for season 5.
Yes, which is Total Drama All-Stars. Which happens to be possibly the controversial season, not for anything that happened like, ooh, why did they do that? More for because of the surprise criticism it got. Because even with this season, the new cast, it was still liked because it was a refresher from the first season. Season 5 brought in a lot of criticism for the writing, the characters they brought back, Courtney and Gwen, the thing with Alejandro's voice actor, and Mike's character.
So, that'll wrap us up for this podcast.
Yep. I'm Oscar Entertainments.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it